Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm your host, Jason Walker, and this is the internet's most detailed online video tasting program. We've got a black tea that we're going to be looking at today. Stepping away from that tone, which is not our usual tone, let's go ahead and talk about this tea, what we're doing here. This is a place where you get together with me and with your friends, your colleagues, your family. You find some teas that you are interested in. If you're new to tea, this is an introduction for you as to what teas you might want to try. When you do get some teas, how you want to look at them, how you want to taste them, and really just kind of uncover and unlock all the secrets of that tea. So we've got a black tea today. It is from China. We do a lot of Chinese teas. Not necessarily, we do, I'm familiar with Chinese teas. I'm always expanding and exploring as Indian teas and teas from elsewhere. So, but lately we've just been getting a lot of Chinese teas. But that's a positive because there are so many different kinds of teas that come out of China. This is a black tea. It is called a Lapsang Souchong, and it has a bit of a story. And the other aspect of telling stories about Chinese teas is that you'll find that everybody's got an explanation as to the origin or the background or the history of a tea, and a lot of those things get embellished. Someone will say, no, don't listen to that version. Here's my version, which is the true original version. And so you get so many variations out there. But this tea has been smoked. It's been dried, smoked and or dried, I should say, over pine needles or wood. So there's that smoky element that travels and gets absorbed into the leaf. What you saw was, just now, got my spoon, filled up my about a full teaspoon here, put it in, said that's a little, I need a little bit more in order to fully coat the bottom plus a little bit more than the bottom of my 4-ounce Gaiwan here. My water's been brought to a boil and it's been cooling now for probably about 40 seconds, but should still have enough heat given the amount of time. What you'll also note is there are usually no hard, fast rules on that formula of time plus water temperature plus amount of dry leaf that you're using. Those can all be used in various combinations, and that will be guided by your personal experience. Okay, so what I've done is I've filled up enough water so that when I place my lid on, I have a seal of water that actually rose up above the rim. So now I've got kind of a vacuum in there, which makes it nicer as far as preparing this tea. Let's talk about this tea a little bit and talk about where it comes from. This is from RJ Teahouse. RJ is a eBay store, so it's nice to check out some eBay stores and find out what teas would be as far as price goes, as far as selection of quality goes. When you're sourcing directly from Chinese companies or Hong Kong companies, as the case may be, you can get a lot more choices that way, and you can get some different prices there as well. Not always better, but you can get some different prices depending on what grade you're looking for. When we look at teas, we often look at the dry leaf, the wet leaf, and the liquor. And when we're talking about this is, again, RJ Teahouse's Wuyi Lapsang Souchong Supreme, 100 grams for $11. And yeah, as you said, as we look at these teas, you know what? Yeah, we'll leave that part alone. Let's move on, talking about where this tea actually comes from. This tea is labeled as a Wuyi tea. Lapsang Souchongs don't always have that added on Wuyi aspect to it. Generally, you'll just be given the fact that it's from Fujian province, which is the wider area. Wuyi mountains are in Fujian province. But we digress. We're talking about this dry leaf, and then we're going to talk about the wet leaf and the liquor in just a moment. You know what? A lot of Lapsang Souchongs are dominated by a pine smoke, which is kind of a sweet, smoky smell. This one, the dominant notes are chocolate notes, and I mean clear chocolate notes, nothing else getting in the way, nothing else adding on to that, which is not the standard in what is offered in online Lapsang Souchongs. Okay, let's put that aside for just a moment. I'm going to breathe on these a little bit, just kind of unlock and see if I can pull out any other notes. A nice warm exhale creates a kind of a sauna. That steam, that kind of moist air, can unlock some other flavors. But this one, dominant chocolate notes, with nothing else really to note of any significance. Okay, you're getting leaves that are wiry, wrapped, crinkled along the full length of the vein. Pieces as long as an inch or more, down to a quarter of an inch or so. Actually, a lot of these are looking like they are needles or very delicate young leaves that have gone through a firing process. What else do we have? Bistre colors. I mean, we're talking about a dark blackish looking color, deep gray brown, I should say. Okay, let's see if I can get these back in without spilling a lot of them. In just a moment, next thing we're going to be looking at is our wet leaf. So one, we've already noticed that this one does not manifest the smoky quality usually associated with Lapsang Souchongs. Okay, let's go ahead now then and talk about our wet leaf, and we're going to have to pour to look at our wet leaf, of course. To pour, we're going to angle our lid over to the side, creating a gap in between the lid and the cup. Middle finger and thumb are holding the rim. If you've pushed the water away from the rim, if you've got a nice gaiwan that has allowed that heat to dissipate properly, and you're holding the lid with your index finger, you've got a nice smooth pour, just like so. Already seeing a nice rich color coming off into our pitcher here. A pitcher like this is very useful if you're serving to more than one person, because the tea at the bottom of the gaiwan, the bottom of the steep, is often thicker, richer, while that at the top is thinner and lighter. And so by pouring it all together and then serving it, you get a more consistent cup across the servings. Okay, let's talk about this wet leaf now. Again, that smoky pine element is really nowhere to be found. Notes are moving now towards more of a fruity, baked peach type note coming off of this wet leaf. And quite strong, quite rich in its peachiness. Others have elements that hint at peach, while this one gives a more pronounced peach, baked peach content. Let's talk about these leaves though. I don't want that piece because that's not really reflective of what we have. What do we have? We have leaves that have unfurled, not complete. I mean, yeah, it's complete, but not intact, fully intact. It does have some tears in it. Here's another one that's they're now becoming more of a more like a russet, more like something a reddish brown, deep reddish brown. Okay. There's much larger, longer leaves here. This one's at least 2 inches, 2.5, and leaves that actually in the middle here, they still are light olive drab. Perhaps the firing didn't really get all the way to this one to get to really roast in, heat in that color of this piece of leaf, because it's a larger leaf like that. Looking for leaf pairs, and I'm not seeing any. You're getting quite a range of leaf sizes. We had some that are like 2 inches. You have some that look more delicate, like younger, 1/2 inch type there. Okay, that's more like 1 inch, very thin, lighter. Okay, so that's that variety of leaf shapes. Nice peachy, baked peach type colors, or aromas I should say. And then we go to our liquor. This one is if I had raisin juice, that's what I'm associating here. Squeezings from a raisin, so it's a nice, almost like a port type color, port wine type color there. And aromas. Raisin juice. I mean, there is nice sweet raisin smell coming off of this. Rich. Again, there are some sweet, I don't remember all my classifications for port wine, but it's almost like a tawny that can give a nice sultana raisin squeezing type raisin smell. And that's present here. In the taste, a hint of that pine smoke is starting to come out, and it's really you can really detect it as an aftertaste, as not to be harsh. Fresh pine. If you're not familiar with like a fresh cut piece of pine wood, for example, if you're sawing wood, you're sawing a piece of pine, as the heat builds up, there's that sappy sweetness coming out. That's that smell that you get in like pine saw, the cleaner. So there is that sweet pine sappy feel and aroma that travels up from the back of your mouth up into your nose. So it's a bit of and on the tip of your tongue, there's that sappy, sweet kind of feel there as well. The raisin aspect has backed off quite a bit, so that you are getting that pine sap feel on the tongue. You're getting that aroma and taste in the back of the mouth. You are getting a light astringency. The middle part of the whole process tends toward the watery. It feels thin as far as when the liquor is swirling in your mouth, which is a little bit off, a little bit beyond what I expected. Initially, it does have a flash of this kind of chocolatey type feel or texture initially on the front of the tongue before it moves back to that pine. So you're getting, I would say, you're getting a complexity of flavors and aromas depending on different times of the tea. Very briefly, there's that chocolatey. Towards the back, you're getting more of that pine sweetness, sappiness to it. In the middle, well, in the aftertaste, as that pine kind of dies off, you do get a little bit more over towards a raisin baked peach combination there. Aftertaste tapers off fairly quickly, especially compared to other black teas. So when I look at this tea as a whole, one, I didn't really get a smooth ride, a gentle transition across flavor profiles in this. I did not get a body and a texture that transitioned smoothly that either. So looking at this tea, it does have some interesting notes to it. It does have a surprising chocolatey smell to the dry leaf, which was mouth-watering and appealing there in the beginning. But looking at this tea as a whole, I'm going to give this tea an 87 simply because it didn't really bring everything together. It didn't really transition smoothly between the elements of the tea. And as we said, the aftertaste just didn't really carry on as fully and as smoothly as it could have. So this was RJ Teahouse's Wuyi Lapsang Souchong Supreme. We looked at it together here at Walker Tea Review. Come back, share your thoughts, your experiences. Enjoy with us, taste with us, and grow in tea appreciation with us.